Okay, guys, alternate ending. Take 43.
With so many movies on the net and TV, it's kinda hard being up and film savvy. Do you catch a show while you're on the go? And how do you know what to keep or what to throw? How do you know what to keep or what to throw? Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Now! Please give a warm welcome to the hosts of Alternate Ending.
Welcome to Alternating. We're discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Robert Jarsinski. Across from me is our casual moviegoer Carrie Jarsinski and our very own critic in residence Tim Brayton. With it finally feeling like fall, at least here in Madison,
for a whole day, it's gonna be not 90 degrees for 24 hours.
We've had some 70s. I'm a 70s
September.
person. That's where I live. That's where I want to be. Is in the 70s.
Big fan of Zepp.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The musician.
The musician?
The musician.
The musician Zepp?
Ledley Zeppelin, yes.
Ledley Zeppelin.
See, Rob was referring to the temperature.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. What's
I was
going on.
incongruously pretending he was referring to the decade.
I saw what you did there.
Yeah.
It was good.
Either way, we're ready to pick the movies we're most excited about for the rest of 27 with our top 5 fall movie preview.
27?
2017.
What did I say?
You said
27. Looking ahead.
That's what I
Good old 27 AD when the movies were new.
I'm making things shorter, so I'm just
Okay.
jumping from
All right.
just the
All
2
right.
and the 7.
Gotcha.
It was confusing for a lot of people actually too. The because we call it fall movie preview, but we're really talking about the movies.
See, that was unclear to
Well,
me.
you see, the thing is, it is fall, and it will continue to be fall until basically the last week of releases, because fall it ends on December 20 whatever.
First.
So,
Oh, does it
Okay.
really?
December 21st, yeah.
December's a fall month.
So you can't take anything after December 21st, otherwise it doesn't count, just so you know.
Wait, I don't know. I guess we'll get there.
Well,
We'll get
I mean,
there.
I'm thinking of this as like an awards season, sort of. Like what films will be on top 10 lists, what films will be Oscar nominees, and those could potentially open Christmas Day.
Okay. Well, before we get there, I do want to share with you guys a new nightmare that I have. It's something that happened to me over the last weekend. My cousin's getting engaged, and we had her bridal shower in Chicago. Chicago, known, I believe, as the second largest city of Polish, or second largest Polish
I
population.
think at one point it was the largest.
Perhaps,
in fact.
yeah.
It's
perhaps
second
large.
now to
Warsaw, the capital.
Warsaw, yeah.
So Warsaw's recovered from its...
So a lot of
Lack of Polish
foods. My parents visiting in town as well too. What they do is whenever one of us is going to Chicago, they like to go to the deli there and procure meats. Lots of meats. Take it
Cheap
back with
meats.
them. Cheap meats, good meats, quality meats.
I don't
Go
know about
back.
that. It's cheap meats.
I think they're of quality.
Chicago is the meat city.
It's a lot of
It is.
a lot of
Only good
delis.
meat in Chicago.
So my parents weren't able to go, so they sent me in their place. And because this is Polish town, everybody still strictly speaks primarily Polish in these establishments.
You speak Polish?
I speak Polish, not very well.
Oh, I think you can get by.
Conversation, not deli Polish.
Would you please say, I would like your thick kielbasa in Polish right now?
Ja bym chciał twój, oh crap.
Shushek.
No, not shoot. That's not appropriate.
No one speaks Polish on the show.
But
Well, if they do, they're red
If
now.
they do.
they're excited. Yeah. So I was sent to do this errand, this fool's errand, and normally my parents go. I've been with them, and I just stand in line and kind of watch them do their thing. But they sent me a list, and it was very cryptically written. Everything was written out supposedly, in Polish, but supposed to be phonetic. And I walk into this store. I'm a little nervous, and I go up, and the whole place is just devoid of emotion. No one's laughing. No one's having a good time. It looks like one of those.
So a Polish deli.
It's a Polish. It's what you would think of as like a Cold War kind of like East German.
I know when I think of Poland, I think of like 1980s Cold War era television where everybody is just like a uniform shade of brown.
That's exactly what it is.
I pushed my thing and I got my number and I waited.
It was number 1.
No, it was like 4,
And I waited.
460, so it was like an hour. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. Have my list in front of me, and my dad thought it would be funny if he rewrote some of the words that are similar, but with,
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, so he rewrote some of the words to be phallic in terms. So instead of 6 forest sausages, I ordered 6 dicks of forest because the words are very similar. Piętka and Pietka are very interchangeable,
no.
and he claims to say it was an innocent mistake because there's like some sort of accent mark
So what happened?
It wasn't. The lady still did not smile at me, but kind of gave me a look. And
Or did she smile at you?
No, there was no smile. She thought I was maybe putting her on or something like that. And
Sure.
I'm trying to like.
Was she good looking?
Polish?
Sure.
Now then.
I just said she's Polish. That's
You
so sad.
allowed that to linger.
So,
She's a very
I'm
beautiful
offended.
Polish woman.
as a young German woman.
But I do not recommend it. I do not recommend if you're not fluent in a language to go into.
So here's my sort of question. You are given a sheet of paper. You are placed in an environment where the sheet of paper has the phonetic spelling of a language that you do not speak, but the person who's at the counter speaks this language. Why not just write the list out in Polish?
I thought about passing her my phone, but then she didn't look trustworthy either.
No, here's my
But I mean,
question.
why didn't your parents just give you a shopping list that you then gave
would've-
to the deli?
That's what I'm just- yeah.
That's a much better plan of attack.
This is really poor planning.
We'll rethink this for the next round.
For your
and-
next
and save me the
penis
embarrassment.
purchase. Yeah.
But you've been in this deli, Care.
Oh, did you go to the same deli?
Yeah, the same deli.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Carrie
you
tried
won't
to
be
be
going there again.
No, Carrie tried with her playfulness, where she gets away with everywhere else. Like, hey, look at me, it's me.
Oh,
I'm
it doesn't
Carrie.
work in the
And
Polish.
it-
Like
no.
10 years ago, I went to this place. Oh, I didn't know you went to the same place.
Oh, I feel like any story that starts with 10 years ago and still has like an intense
10 years
emotion
ago.
attached to it is a good story.
Rob and I had just started dating, I think, at the time, and I was feeling really hip.
And he made you buy a dick worth of sausage.
I did with the sausage. He's like, buy it 10 dicks. And I was like, I can do that. But here's the thing. You go to Europe or you go travel anywhere, everybody always speaks English. They do not in these Chicago delis. So I went in and I was like, I'll just sort of like add like a ski to the end. Like, I'll have some cheese ski, please. And I'll have a little bit of, sausage ski. And that didn't
they
go,
love that.
they
Yeah, they
didn't
love that.
go
Yeah.
over well. No.
I think it's very impressive that the Polish embassy did not create a major stink over this
Over this
forthright
situation.
crime perpetrated in a Polish deli 10 years
Well, I
ago.
thought you could laugh it off. They don't laugh it off there either. So
Well, they're not funny.
they
They're very dour people.
I don't know what it is. I just think they have bigger things
Not
to
a lot
do.
of Polish comedies coming out of
years and
Poland.
years of suffering from every single one of their neighbors.
Yeah, I assume that that's what it is, but I didn't know you went back to that one. So
Well, I can put that behind me now. Let's jump into some movies with our worth mentioning segment. What is the worth mentioning segment of the movies we've seen since the last episode? Which are the ones we want to talk about most? They could be great movies. They could be terrible. We share them either way. Tim, how's your movie watching going? How many movies have you seen?
It was a light period. I only saw 6 movies. I feel like that was, not what I wanted, but that wasn't even one a day.
Yeah, that's
One a day,
shameful.
Sort of, yeah. Sadly, none of them are Polish. I would love to be able to at this point spit out like, here is this very sad movie about communism. There's lots of excellent sad movies about communism. Anyway, so for worth mentioning, I am going to sort of break the unwritten spirit of the worth mentioning segment, I think, because ordinarily I try to pick a movie that's new to me. But in this particular case, one of my 6 movies that I saw was a rewatch of a movie that I hadn't seen in a few years, and I love it a lot. And I decided just to try and share some of the love with you. The film is Les Millions, million, but in French, from 1931, directed by René Clair. It's a romantic musical comedy about this desperately, desperately poor painter named Michel, who wins the lottery, wins 1 million francs, and is all excited to cash in the ticket, and discovers that his girlfriend gave the jacket that had the ticket in the pocket to a transient. But it turns out that the transient is the leader of Paris's largest gang. So it's like the painter versus the gang versus the cops, and they're trying to get this lottery ticket. 1931 film.
is it black and white? Obviously,
it
or
is very much in black and white.
did they colorize these though? Now,
No.
oh, they don't do that.
That is considered a bad practice. Very early on, it's I think only the second musical made in France. The first was the same director, René Clair. And it's such a creative, wonderful, funny use of music to sort of like create characters' inner lives, just to create weird little jokes that you couldn't possibly accomplish without music. There's one very famous, excellent scene where the 2 main characters, the boyfriend and girlfriend, have been fighting over this whole situation. And they end up accidentally on stage during a performance of an opera. and the opera singers are these two unpleasant devo, like a devo and a diva who despise each other, and they're singing this very passionate love affair, but they keep like giving each other stink eye. Meanwhile, we see the two characters, our characters, like sort of play acting to the opera love song, and it's sort of how their relationship patches back up while they're like miming opera, and it's just the most delightful thing. So it's this unbelievably charming, sweet, funny French movie from 1931. If you're not a fan of musicals, definitely stay away. But I love it. It's one of my favorite movies. Les Millions, René Clair.
Where did you find it?
Oh, I've owned it for years. It's,
okay.
It's on DVD through the Criterion Collection, which means I suppose you could probably find it probably on Filmstruck to stream, maybe on Hulu to stream. But however you find it, it's a great one. It's just such a nice movie. It's only 80 minutes long, so it's like short. It's not going to take up too much of your time. So totally recommend that to everybody who just likes old French comedy about singing. Which is all of us, really. Kind
of makes me think of It Could Happen to You. Probably related.
I knew that was coming. I was going to say it, and then I was like, I don't want Tim to look at me mean.
He's sharing. He's saving that for me.
This way, I don't even have to turn my head to just like stare at you. I'm not mad, Rob. I'm just disappointed.
I'm just upset. No.
I'm just disappointed.
Rosie Perez, excellent performance. No, Carrie and I did not see 6 movies. I think we both. I don't know. She did some movie watching without me.
How many did you see?
2.
What's the other one I saw?
I'm counting having watched Secret Life of Pets twice.
That's a cheap.
No,
that is a
cheap.
By the way, better the second time.
Yeah, maybe.
Better the second time.
I think so.
But no, we caught up with a movie that I think in previews we were both kind of excited
super
to see.
psyched about.
And talking about 2017's Gifted.
Have you seen this?
I avoid movies like Gifted very much like the plague unless I hear that there is a subplot involving the gifted child trying to create murder.
No.
So Book of Henry?
Book of Henry. That's the thing. Like, Book of Henry is the version of Gifted that gets me into the theater.
No, but Gifted, yeah, you're okay. You're okay not checking this out. Oh, whoa. I guess so.
Well, tell me a little bit more about it first.
A little bit more. It's an hour 41. IMDb 7.6. Very generous. Rotten Tomatoes 72%. This is written and directed by Mark Webb, who brought us 500 Days of Summer.
Mark Webb.
And then that's
the thing. Like I know it's fashionable to bag on 500 Days of Summer. I think it's great. I think it's straight up, no qualifications. A great movie. He has just been fucking up nonstop.
Yeah,
since that movie.
was Gifted. I don't know about Gifted, but asked to do Amazing Spider-Man. Blinking on the gentleman's name for a moment. Who's the star of that one?
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man. Those two, the two that we would probably prefer not to remember. But this one stars Gifted stars Chris Evans, McKenna Grace as the young girl. Lindsay Duncan, Jenny Slate, Octavia Spencer, who's wasted in this movie for the most part.
I mean, like you're rattling off names like Chris Evans and Jenny Slate are. Jenny Slate is always wasted. 95% of the time she's on screen, so that's not.
Octavia Spencer, though.
Octavia Spencer gets some unbearably bad roles.
So this is really the centerpiece. Stars Chris Evans and McKenna Grace. Frank, as a single man raising his child prodigy niece Mary, is drawn into a custody battle with his mother. So the child's maternal grandmother.
Played by Octavia Spencer.
Yes.
That would be more interesting. Played by Lindsay Duncan. Who I'm not. She kind of looks familiar.
I'm sure I've seen her in things. I don't want to say what I think I know her from in case I'm wrong, but I'm going to surreptitiously hop over to the IMDb
sure.
while you're describing.
I don't mind if you're wrong.
You know what? For me,
no, I'm the critic in residence.
Oh, right.
I'm infallible.
Can never be wrong.
McKenna as the child prodigy was great. Chris Evans just so absolutely charming and just him on screen.
So likable, yeah.
Octavia, for what she was doing, was great. Everybody was okay doing their part. The story seemed a bit contrived, and in fact, what this was to me was a proportionally more smarter version of I Am Sam, in the sense where it's the same exact movie, except Sam is now more average IQ, and the child is now a prodigy. So it's just the same plot, kind of brought up one.
That's rough.
That's what I felt.
I don't think so at all. I don't think so at all. I think this is a movie you're bagging on because could this movie have been more than it was? And did it have its cheesy parts? And did it have its holes? For sure. But if you just were looking to just let go and have a movie that was a roller coaster of heartwarming and yet sweet and something that you're rooting for somebody to win and you're rooting for the ending, I
Sounds
thought it
like
was
a movie where I'd be
super.
rooting for the ending.
You, I no doubt you would hate this movie for sure, but I didn't. There were parts of it that I found frustrating. I think just because Rob actually, while we were watching it, which I find this super annoying when Rob points out plot holes. He's like, "Why didn't they just do X?"
You got to hold that till the movie's done, because maybe
Seriously,
they'll
man.
answer.
That's how
we waited till the
maybe
end.
it turns
No.
out that the whole thing was a dream, and the plot holes are just part of its inherent logic.
It didn't
Like
do
Robot
that,
Monster.
but or Bob Newhart, but yeah. But Rob ruined it a little bit for me. If I was just alone in a room watching this by myself, I would have enjoyed it more. I don't think it was a terrible movie, but it's not something you go out and spend money on. But
Sure.
It
I
did
wanted
really
to
well.
like
Made
it.
for $7 million, brought in $40 million bucks.
bad,
So
not bad.
Mark's going to be.
I think it's the
continuing
cast
to-
that got that though,
Yeah.
and good trailer. The trailer hooks you, and some of the holes in it, you're probably
It's
like,
fine.
"Oh,"
It's
but
fine.
fine.
It's a fine way to pass the time, I suppose. The major plot issue for me still stands out, but yeah, the acting was everybody was fine. It was okay. It was okay.
So I was, by the way, when I thought I knew who Lindsay Duncan was, I was correct.
How are we gonna know?
She is a British actor. You're just gonna have to trust me.
I do.
She's a British performer, does a lot of TV, but the things that I know her for, if you remember Birdman or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, the Best Picture winner from a couple years ago, she's the critic. Like there's
right.
that scene where he gets like chewed out by a critic. That's her. She's also in a really charming little romantic story about old people in love from 2013 called The Weekend, which is her and I think Jim Broadbent and Jeff Goldblum, very weirdly, which is very sweet, very cute. Not like great art, but it's. I think actually you might like it. But
She
yeah.
plays
Lindsay
a
Duncan's
character
good. I
like
her
a
lot.
Birdman critic type of, like she has that look on her. She plays
She has a
characters
judgy
like that,
face.
yeah, where you're not rooting for her at all.
Yeah.
And also, as I'm sure everyone knows but me, and I just had to be reminded, she is the voice of TC-14 in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Of course.
Obviously. Yeah. Duh.
Well, remember, you can find more details about all the movies we've watched at our website, alternateending.com. That's alternateending.com. Before we head to our break, you might be wondering about ways to support the show. You may want to make us watch a movie, have Tim write a review, pick your own episode topic. You can do it all from our Patreon page, and get out there quick because we still only have 6 of those critic reviews left. So if you want to lock in your Tim review or any one of our other perks, be sure to get out there quickly. Also, want to thank all of our listeners who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing it is easy. Just go to our website, alternateending.com, click on our Amazon banner, and seamlessly go about your purchases. All proceeds go to making our show better. Since our last episode, here are some of the things that were purchased. Some books, Critical Visions in Film Theory. Nothing, Tim?
Is that you?
I mean, it's not mine, but it sounds like someone whose field is the same as mine.
At some point, we will run into a book, a film book that you have read. I'm beginning to think that you actually haven't done any reading.
I have bought books through our link, and for some reason,
They know.
the
You're
things
trying to
that I
cheat the
buy
system.
don't. I delete my cookies and everything.
Remember those nipple tassels? That was you.
That was me.
Yeah.
See, so we have this. So was the gallon of lube.
Yeah. The gallon.
I appreciate this too. This is a pretty big purchase here. We have a 21.5-inch LED backlit monitor with
All right.
with keyboard.
Nice.
I think
Thank you.
Wowzers.
a Corsair gaming keyboard. So I don't care if you're familiar with.
Is it like curved?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
I know all about
it's,
it.
It's curved for
Wrist.
Ergonomics.
wrist
Yep.
pleasure. For
Curved for her pleasure.
yeah, I was gonna go there, but
That was, yeah.
But you were taking too long to get there,
I
so
was.
I just had to
Tell 'em about.
push on through.
digital music. We had Men Are Like Streetcars, women's blues singers, 1928 through 1969.
Ooh, that hits me where I live. That sounds really good.
Yeah, you like that? All right.
Nice
check-
purchase, whoever purchased that.
Oh, look at this Bissell Cleanview upright bagless vacuum.
That sounds like you are still not in the music.
No, I'm
Is
no.
that-
I'm,
is that-
I've moved
is that
on
digital
from music.
music?
No, that's not. I've moved on.
Okay.
I've moved on.
Vacuum. That's a nice purchase too. Jeez.
Yeah. Home and Garden, an e-boot, 2-pack, 40-inch plant hanger, flower pot, plant holder.
Wait, what's an e-boot?
I don't know. That's what it's called. E-boot.
E-boot says one thing to me, and plant hanger
Yeah.
says something
Okay.
totally different.
I've probably mixed the two. Maybe.
What's happening here?
I don't know. Also had a Rubbermaid commercial stainless steel oven monitoring thermometer.
Oh, nice. I need
that's
to get one of
nice.
those. I lost mine in my move.
Some music as well. Live On I-5 explicit. Someone getting down and dirty with
Live
their...
On I-5?
I see. That's live. Maybe that's live on I-5.
Oh my gosh. Have you been?
That makes more sense.
Do you want me to do this? I can
think
read.
That might possibly be, yes. I think it might be worth 5 minutes before the show for you to just quickly
Should I read
over the
through
list.
these? These are nice. I've always wanted these for the outdoors. The Lumen Trail, those little braided lights.
Oh, yeah,
that you put
yeah.
around things. I always think that's a nice touch for
I do too.
for outdoor lighting. Some toys and games purchased. Just a bunch of Magic the Gathering things. Damn it! Did you play Magic? I played Magic.
I never played Magic.
You seem
I
like
had
a
no
magic
friends.
man.
I had no friends.
Why does Tim seem like? What does that mean? What does a Magic Man seem like?
I think there's a thing.
It's that heart song about the very sexy man who's so sexy that women cry when he's around.
Well, I hope
and
I
play
hope,
Magic.
I hope this person
Sure.
got some sort of rare cards in their bundle pack.
Maybe
that
they got
purchased.
the sword.
The sword.
There's a sword in there.
No, there's no sword.
Oh,
Some
About magic. You don't use swords in magic.
magical
Barbarians use
sword.
swords.
Wait, what is that card game you bought for me when we
Magic.
started dating?
There's magic.
Magic.
Yeah,
There's a sword in there.
There's a sword there. There's someone who wields a sword, perhaps. There's not just a sword that you lay down, tap some mana.
Like a talking sword.
Yeah, maybe it's just a talking sword.
It could be.
Deals five attack, 2 defense.
I'm not playing this game
Nothing.
with you. No.
Snap circuits, some electronics discovery kit for children. That's very nice. Appreciate that. Thank you guys for all your purchases. When we get back, our top 5 movies for the rest of the year. And welcome back to Alternating. We're talking about our top 5 movies for the rest of the year, or as we like to call it, the top 5 fall preview of 2017.
The fall 2017 movie preview.
Fall beginning of winter movie preview before.
Because technically winter does cover the last 2 release dates of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's all
Pre-December
fall season.
21st.
A lot of movies coming out. What are you, in general, how are you guys feeling based on how you research this? What are you feeling about the rest of the year?
I'm feeling that it's been kind of a soft, lousy year, and it is not looking to disappoint in that it will end the way it began.
Is it going to be flaccid for you too, Care?
Um,
Flaccid year? Oh, that's the proper
I
way to
don't
describe
feel like
something.
that's probably
that's
the right
not
word.
good?
No. I feel like it feels a little limp. Yeah. Is that better?
No, that's worse. I
Is
think.
it worse? I don't actually like that word either.
It's nothing Like, I mean,
It does feel like the year shot its wad.
Well, I don't have another boner joke, but I do have.
Well, eventually it'll get around to me. So
It'll get around to you. We'll come back to you. And yeah, I narrowed mine down to 23 movies.
You had 23 where you're like, oh yeah, this
Where
could
they were reasonable.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I narrowed mine down to 4, and then I was like, oh goddamn.
Gotta find another one.
I gotta scrounge up something that maybe I'm not actually super.
Here's a
enthusiastic
question.
for.
Did you guys have the thought that like you actually have to go retro because pre-episode, so for example, it actually falls in, that didn't fall into your mind.
Well, it was a summer release. Fall had not started yet. Now, I will say the first version of this list did include a movie called Loving Vincent for me, an animated film about the life of Vincent van Gogh. It's already opened in New York, opened on September 22nd, which is the first day of fall. But I concluded if it has already opened commercially in the United States, done.
Done.
Yeah, I started with
So start date. What's your start date?
the recording of this podcast.
My start date is the
crapper.
recording of this podcast. As well.
Oh, okay. I think mine is too.
And I imagine a lot of
What
overlap.
is today?
So today.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good. No,
Okay,
I'm good.
good.
Okay.
I imagine a lot of overlap because
the films that
Slim
would
pickings.
potentially have become contentious would be God, what even opened this weekend?
Okay.
Can't help you there.
Like stuff.
Well, let's get started. Care. What do you have for us at number 5?
What am I have at number 5? So this falls into. I tried not to do too many genre overlaps. I wanted it to be a little taste of everything. So my first movie that I chose is one that comes out on October 20th, just before Halloween. It's the movie The Snowman. Do you guys have this?
No.
No, absolutely. So
It's
okay,
a
go ahead.
horror crime movie. Did you guys see the preview for this?
Yes,
Oh, yes.
That's what's steering me away from it.
So the snowballs that we're throwing through the air from the Snowman Killer
It looks so
seems a little
festive
cheesy.
and fun, and it looks like they're making snowmen.
It seems potentially
having
cheesy.
snow
Holiday
fights.
classic.
But here's the thing. I'm hoping for 7 meets Kiss Kiss. Or no, not Kiss Kiss. Kiss the Girls? What if it's that?
You see, I think it's going to be that in a bad way. For me, the reason to hold out hope is the director.
Yeah.
Who has, I think...
You mean Thomas
Alfredson.
Yeah.
His last two films were Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and Let the Right One In, which I think are both just like...
That's that vampire movie.
Fucking good movies. Yeah, the vampire movie.
I actually, now that you're saying that out loud, I hated Let the Right One In. That was scary and weird.
This hopefully will be both of those
That was
things.
like the one with like the
little-
missing...
but
With the-
Oh, is that a spoiler?
That's a big
It's a
spoiler.
big old spoiler.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't tell then.
But it's the one about the little boy who meets a little girl and they become friends, and then it's like, oops, your little girlfriend is a
vampire,
psychopathic vampire.
Funny,
Yeah, I hated that
quick
movie.
aside for that. I fell asleep for almost the whole movie. Woke up in that final scene, the reveal scene.
That has got to be disorienting.
Not ideal, not ideal. So let me tell you about the Snowmen. So this is about Detective Henry Hole, which is a strange name, who's investigating the disappearance of a woman whose pink scarf is found wrapped around in an ominous-looking snowman, and it becomes a chase murder horror movie of this guy that's killing women and serial killer types, or we think it's a serial killer type scenario, and he's after I have Chevy Chase's after him, but it's not.
Michael Fassbender.
This would be my number one if this was a Chevy Chase vehicle. Nothing else is
That's right.
different except the Chase is the
Not
first one.
Somehow
Chevy
a Christmas
Chase.
Vacation, like
oh man,
sequel. That would
Christmas
be
Snowman. No, it's not him. That would make it higher on the list, but. I love horror movies in general that are done in a way that I don't know, that don't touch on certain things. And this one looks like I want to like a scary one going into Christmas. So if I picked one scary one, this was going to be my one.
I mean, you got Fassbender, you have the director that you mentioned. The trailer for me really
The trailer
took me out of it.
The trailer looks derivative, and like I'm not like all about like let's do cultural criticism and beat up on movies that way. It seems to be about murdering women to a degree that's like odd in our current cultural moment.
But what if it's not? So
Well,
what if it's like just the trailer and then
That's
it's like
the- I
it
mean,
ends up being a subplot?
I feel like enthusiasm for this movie, for me at least, requires it to be a film that they're lying to us what it is.
Agreed. No, I know what you mean.
That's a difficult... I will say this. I think the poster is absolutely great. Like when you see it in person in a movie
looks so
theater,
scary.
it's like this scrawled snowman with in like really childish handwriting, like "Hello, Mr. Police, you could have saved her" or something like that. And it's creepy as hell, and I love it.
I know.
I liked your comparison of Kiss the Girl 7 and then with a dash of Insomnia or something.
And
Oh,
I think
yeah.
there's definitely some the girl with the dragon tattoo. going on.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have high hopes. Like, it could be good. And a lot of the movies that I've chosen this time, it's like if it twists the wrong way, I'm going to either love it or hate it, but
Sure.
we'll see where this one goes. So what do you have for your number 5?
You know, on October the 20th, while you are hanging out watching The Snowman, I will be watching my number 5,
Okay.
which is a film you are both going to be so excited about.
Uh-huh.
This film is The Killing of a Sacred Deer, a film that was at this year's Cannes Film Festival, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, who, as you both adore, his work on The Lobster.
Oh.
This is the one beforehand I was pretty sure that you'd have on there.
I will be honest, the reviews have been softer than I wanted them to be. So like this is the one that I was like, okay, if I didn't read any reviews, this would totally have been on my top 5, no question about it. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that maybe the critics are just being pissy. It does have 2 of my favorites, Nicole Kidman and Colin Farrell are in the cast. So it's kind of not super clear to me what the plot is, but it appears to be that Colin Farrell is a surgeon who has done fucked up, and the family of the young woman that he done fucked up on has decided to get revenge. And that's kind of all I can get, so I mean also...
Is this like the reverse Beguiled? Like now she's...
No, more
Oh, wait,
more
no,
like-
it's the same Beguiled because they're coming after him again.
That's right. He was the guy in the Beguiled. No, because it seems to be much more specifically a revenge plot.
Okay.
Like he screwed up in the operating room, and now they're just going to try and ruin his life to get revenge. So still in the thriller thing.
Okay.
So we're both operating there. I mean, I will be honest. For this one, most of my hopes are tied to Lanthimos with a script that he co-wrote with Eftimis Philippou, working with Colin Farrell was an A+ collaboration for me on The Lobster. I know it was not yours. But I loved it. So that's kind of where I'm at. And then you add Nicole Kidman to that, who I think is just really, really
rigid and cold.
She's so brittle and unyielding and hateful. No, I think she makes great choices of projects. I think she picks good directors. She picks good scripts. If between those two, I'm like, I think there's got to be something here.
Do you get a sense of tone from this, like in The Lobster, where there's maybe some humor?
That does not seem to be the case.
Okay.
This seems to be his first more or less humorless film.
Did you watch the trailer for this, Rob?
I just saw Lathamos on there and was like, moving on.
I saw the title
sorry,
and I
buddy.
was like, what if there's a deer killing in the actual trailer? So I skipped it because I was nervous.
It's just, it doesn't.
Is there
I believe
a
the
deer
sacred
killed?
deer is a wholly metaphorical construct.
Oh, see, you didn't see that coming.
Nope.
No.
But you check this out for me, Tim, and then I go, crap, now I have to watch this. God.
Oh, that's right, you
no.
do. Damn.
Yeah.
My next
I'm gonna
one's
redo my
Tulip Fever.
list.
My next one's Tulip Fever, so that you can watch that in favor of
well, I want to see Tulip Fever.
Good.
I was very sad that it's like very shamefaced release in Madison theaters, like 1 week, one showtime a day. I was not able to get out to it.
Shoot. So what's your number
I
5,
think I'm
Rob?
starting pretty big. Again, I was a little bit like you, Tim, where I had my 4 pretty solidly in place, and they're not an exciting 4. It's not like out of the box 4. But for 5, I was like, what should I put here? And nothing was really calling out to me, so I went with the tried and true method of picking Pixar. Got to pick Pixar,
Sure.
right? I mean, how often has Pixar disappointed people? So I went with
more recently.
more recently. I really Cars, Good Dinosaur, if you want to call that a disappointment, right?
You know, I think arguably a lot of things in the last 6 years. But anyway, so talk about Coco.
So Coco for me is, I'm picking it simply because it is Pixar, coming out November 22nd, just in time for the holiday weekend, Thanksgiving weekend. Directed and written by the team that brought you Toy Story 3, Finding Nemo, Monsters Inc. Correct me here anytime, Tim.
Well, it's. I mean, when they say it's by the people who did that, they're basically referring to the studio. I do think it's Leon Critch. Who
right.
was the director of Toy Story 3.
Also did an episode of Silk Stockings, to his credit.
Really?
I would work hard to try to get that off my filmography.
What in God's creation? I want to know that story.
What's wrong with Silk Stockings?
He makes Pixar movies.
I mean,
You've seen Silk Stockings?
you want to be
USA?
multi-talented,
Was it
right?
USA? Yeah, I
Yeah, it
guess
was USA, right after Wings.
It was USA like 25 years ago.
Yeah, so he did that, and then it jumps to Toy Story 2 from what I could tell. Stars.
I just love the idea that Lasseter was watching Silk Stockings. I was like,
guy.
we need this guy. This
him
is what
on.
we need in our movie about a prospector toy.
Starring a Spanish cast of Alana Ubach. So some of these names I'm familiar with. Some like Alana Ubach, I'm probably mispronouncing. Don't know her. Edward James Olmos, no. Gail Garcia Bernal, I know. But the movie is about an aspiring musician, Miguel, teams up with the charming trickster Hector on an extraordinary journey through the land of the dead. Patrick Thatcher, audience member, Constance Wozniak, and Joe Vigil all had this on their list. But really, the trailer is... Like,
The trailer's not good.
It's just not doing it.
I don't
mean, I'm Pixar guy in this room, and I see that trailer, and I'm just like, oh...
Would this be a rare thing for a Pixar movie not to make your kind of top 5 for the year? Or
I won't call it unprecedented.
yeah.
It looked kind of scary. Again, I thought Kid. I watched the trailer of it too, and I thought this is a little scary. Maybe is the death theme weird for kids?
I assume it's going to be sort of a Monsters Incorporated-esque. We're looking at something that is scary and traumatic, but we're gonna domesticate it and make it not scary.
But wasn't it skeletons?
Well, they're happy skeletons. They're friendly,
sure.
colorful skeletons.
I don't know.
And in Spanish culture, it is the Day of the Dead.
Well, it's in Mexican culture.
Or Mexican culture, thank you. Day of the Dead, and you've got all the,
And that's the other thing. Like, it is a good faith effort to try to engage with stories about people who are not white as the driven snow, and good for Pixar. It just, I don't know.
Could you do it differently though, with less dead
just
people?
Doesn't look interesting.
Yeah, it didn't look good.
I honestly, it's a placeholder for me, and I was like, of the movies.
What
I
do
have a
they
couple
call it?
honorable
Do they
mentions.
call it a cop? Like, what do they? Is it scary?
It'll be a funny
Children's-
adventure
yeah.
movie with a
Adventure.
third act chase, is my suspicion.
Okay.
because that's how they. Yeah, it's not going to be scary.
No,
It's just
okay.
not.
But my list gets better from here, and I'm surprised that
Yeah,
none
sure.
of you had a Pixar movie on your list, huh?
Yeah, no. I will say this. I think it's clearly going to be the best animated film of the last third of the calendar year.
All right. I don't know if, with the movies slated that have come out. I don't know if that's.
There's a movie
good.
about the Nativity whose trailer involves pigeons twerking.
Okay. So better than that.
It'll be better than that.
That's our yardstick.
All right, Kira, number 4 to you.
Slightly better than Coco, coming in with a movie that I'm like really hot on and slightly cold on. And it's coming out on November 10th, and it's called The Florida Project.
I have that
I think
October
it's coming
6th.
out October 6th, yeah.
It could also actually be October 6th.
Number 4 to me, too. Lining up.
Is it?
Yeah, number and movie, yeah.
So this is directed and written by Sean Baker. And so the reason I chose this was all the movies that Rob and I saw in the theater over the last couple months, this has been in the previews. And literally every time I see it, Rob and I do this thing where we're like, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs to the side. And this one's always a thumbs up.
Okay.
So it's set over one summer, and it's a story, and it sets off with William Dafoe as this curmudgeon-y, I think he's like an apartment or hotel owner or like manager. Super like cute opening scene with these little kids, and he's grumpy and he's telling the kids to like get out and stop eating their ice cream and stop making dirt and whatever. But I love a curmudgeon-y old man that really does love the kids.
Sure.
And so this story follows this little girl who's 6 years old, and she has a mom who's absentee, and she runs around, I think, a little bit wild with her playmates and friends in the neighborhood, and they're a little bit rebellious, and they go out and they do all this stuff. And I think he becomes kind of like this father grandpa figure. Comes off super, super, super cute, and a little bit Little Miss Sunshine-esque. What genre? It's like cutesy drama.
I call it indie
cutesy drama.
Like drama.
Yeah. I mean, I have not seen the trailers for it. This is legit the first time that I was made aware that it was like not sober and sad and serious.
No,
Yeah.
it looks, and Brooklyn Prince, who I believe is the little girl who plays such a precocious little cute girl. I
Cute
like
little
watching
girl.
her on screen.
Yeah.
And Willem Dafoe, I want to say, like, possibly best supporting
I'm sure
actor,
it's like a support.
like,
well, he might even be. Is it a
nominee
lead if
from
he's
this?
like the main?
I don't know how he would
I think
qualify.
he's being positioned for supporting.
Okay.
Is it? What would be the lead actor in that?
There wouldn't be one.
Oh, okay.
And then Brooklyn, I'll say this. I'll go on record right now. I'd love maybe best supporting actress for her.
Maybe. Who knows?
So far, just from the trailer alone,
I'm
I
super
get chills about
concerned.
this one.
So this is my thing. This is where my little bit cold comes from. If this mother is a dill hole and she's like absentee and doesn't try and doesn't care and is like a bad mom, then I'm sad and upset and I want to walk out. If she's the mom that like has troubles and is a struggling single mother who like cares about her daughter and isn't like a jerk, then I love it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
I do want to point out, written directed Sean Baker. You mentioned the name, but mostly known for shooting Tangerine, which was a couple years ago, all on iPhones. And
one of the first times in a like movie of any real visibility that trans characters were played by trans actors.
Can you tell me like slightly a little teeny bit about that? I've never heard of that.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
It looks unbearably bad to me, and I know a lot of people love it. So we actually just were talking about this in the comments to my October movie preview. It looks like everything that I don't want in movies, which is why I haven't been excited about the
So you're saying I might like it?
Maybe.
I don't know.
It was shot on an iPhone.
It's
Like,
streaming
that's
on
bad.
Netflix.
That's a bad thing for movies to be.
It's keeping it cash.
What I like is the subplot, not a subplot, but the fact that the whole hotel, or the motel, I guess, is set against the backdrop of Disney World.
So it's a hotel.
It's a hotel. Set against the backdrop of Disney World. So, where families bring, you go bring kids joy and everything, and there's this kind of like impoverished place right next door where people are just getting by and holding on hope on small things. And I think Sean's trying to.
I hope
to
it's
do big
good.
things
I really
with
want it
the
to be good.
storytelling. So I hope it comes through.
But you don't have this, Tim?
Like I said, I hadn't watched the trailer. I have this weird anti-snobby, well, I don't know. A lot of cinephiles, they hear A24 is distributing a film and they're like, oh man, it's going to be great because A24 is great. I don't like A24. Their tastes in movies are not mine.
What did they do that you also don't like?
Well, the big thing was Her. Like a couple years ago, Her came out and everybody was like, oh my God, Her's so good. This is a distributor to watch out for. And everyone loved Her so much that I kind of started hating it. And ever since then.
The AI movie?
The AI movie.
With the computer and he falls in love with her and then she has multiple men that she's also in love
Room
with?
is A24. It's funny you say this. So A24 is the one where I do the same. I'm like, hey, it's a carrot. It's A24. It's going to be good.
Everyone loves A24. I just get pissy about them. I find them to have they like the things in American indie films that I don't. So just hearing that it was picked up by A24 kind of made me lose interest in this one.
Fair
sadly.
enough.
I think I have high hopes. So we'll see where it goes.
For me, of my list, it has the biggest one to swing, has the biggest upside. Where I think I have it slotted at 4. I actually hope that I'll like it better.
You hope it's 2.
I hope it's a
but
2,
it might be 10.
Could end up being my favorite movie.
You never know.
Possibly, because it's A24.
So
It takes all sorts of different people to make this world of ours
this
go
world.
round.
So what is your number 4, Tim?
So my number 4 is literally the most characteristic, obvious pick. Everyone who knows anything about my tastes knows this would clearly be on my list.
Can I guess it then?
You can guess it.
Is it The Unknown Girl?
It's Thor Ragnarok.
Oh,
My number 2.
that was my number 1.
Oh, I feel bad that I took your number 1.
I feel bad
But
too.
not bad about taking my number 2.
So no. Well, number 2s aren't like number 1s.
That's true.
It's
That's
true.
sacred.
No.
Tell us about it.
You know, I've never, ever, ever been this excited for a Marvel film. And like, it's weird because I tend to not love the Marvel films or even sometimes not like the Marvel films. This one, the ad campaign is playing me like a fiddle. It's got that amazing, amazing use of Led Zeppelin's Immigrant Song. Call back to Led Zeppelin. It's got Immigrant Song. It's got bright ass neon colors. It's got Jeff Goldblum, just Jeff Goldblum in it.
Who's Jeff Goldblum in there?
He's
Kind of a minor, I don't want to say minor character, but he's kind of the...
he's like the rich asshole who owns the pit where Hulk.
Oh,
and
it,
Thor
like
are
the
gonna fight.
gladiators.
Yeah, he oversees
Oh, I didn't even see him in there.
And seems to have Chris Hemsworth demonstrating comic timing, which will be a nice change because I have never liked him in these Thor movies. And that's what's weird.
Never liked him in these. He is Thor.
I know.
I've never liked him in these Thor movies.
Typically
He's the
my least
main
favorite part of these movies. I hate the Thor movies are my least favorite part of the Marvel universe. And
no.
they found a way to make me this goddamn excited about a Thor, and I just don't get it. And it's directed by Taika Waititi, who created
The Hunt of the Wilder People.
Hunt for the Wilder People, which is amazing. We Live in the Shadows, which is amazing. Just an amazing, amazing director of comedy. So like, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm baffled by how much I'm excited for this movie. Opens November 3rd, Friday. So it's going to be one of the big tent poles of the Thanksgiving frame.
So I think it's funny that you're calling it like this giant ad campaign. I actually think they only have been showing that one clip over and over and over again. Like in the scene where he comes out and he's like, well, friends, I know you. Like that scene.
Yes.
And so essentially when you're like, there's this massive ad campaign, there's like a
I
10
didn't
second.
say it was a massive ad
You're
campaign.
like, they've sucked me in with their ad
That's
campaign.
a good trailer. That trailer is a good fucking trailer.
It's 10 seconds and it's one joke. But we're all
It's-
sold.
It's
I mean, it's my number
trailer
one.
that has Immigrant Song and the font from He-Man.
It's my number one. I'm completely sold on it too. I'm like, he's so funny and he has such a good accent and he's so cute. Like I'm sold on it too, but probably for different reasons.
We haven't
but-
mentioned Kate Blanchett, which in its own
Kate
right
Blanchett.
deserves,
that's
So
another
is
thing.
she Hella?
Yes.
Okay.
So Kate Blanchett in anything, I'm like, well, obviously I'm going to go see
It's
it
gonna
because
be
she's
good.
great, and she's like hammy Marvel villain,
I know.
and maybe she'll be actually finally a good
she's
Marvel
like
villain.
ruthless and terrible, apparently. So
Audience
yeah.
members Victor, yourself, and Not Fenimore also had this on their top 5 list. I'm excited. This, as Florida Project had the biggest possible upside. My number 1 and number 2, Thor being my number 2, has a. It can. I think it can only get worse.
Go both
from
ways, yeah.
from the trailer. Like
I
I
agree.
don't know if it can maintain trailer level.
Like, I'm not expecting
excitement.
like Suicide Squad levels of the trailer
No.
flying about the product, but it could absolutely. Like, it's very easy for me to imagine a film that is not one iota better than Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah. I'm a little worried. I don't know how you feel. What is it? We don't have a runtime yet. But
136.
2 hours
yeah.
and 36 minutes.
You've got it? No.
Well, it's opening next week in Europe, and the pre-sales are indicating that's 2 hours and 16 minutes.
Okay.
Here's the reason why I think we'll like it better than Spider-Man Homecoming, because I think regardless of whatever happens in this movie, Spider-Man Homecoming we didn't like a little bit because he's way younger than us. Like, I think for this one we're going to be like, there's this identification piece of it's just an old guy like us out there doing this thing and it's funny and we want to like really like it and whatever. Like, I think there was something like, this is in our like wheelhouse of like support. Maybe.
Well, and I'm a completionist. I'm excited to see how this ties back to a larger Infinity Gauntlet, and the
because they're all going for that stone.
Because for me, that's what's going to torpedo it. It's like I have in my head this really delightful, poppy, pulpy, like throwback to 60s sci-fi comics, and it's going to be a goddamn ad for Avengers 4, and that's going to disappoint.
Well, Captain America and his crew got their time. I'm glad Thor and Hulk get a little bit of time.
Oh,
to
I love
themselves
the Hulk too.
Thank you. Oh yeah, Hulk's my favorite.
So good.
Yeah.
So that obviously Mark Ruffalo's also in this.
So he is, and probably not very much other than the
apparently
Hulk.
we do not ever actually see like Bruce Banner. Apparently he's the Hulk the entire running time.
There was a trailer part, but maybe that's left out of the final cut of the.
I'm really excited for this one, though. I think it's going to be good. We're happy we have to see it in theaters too.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, clearly.
Yes. So let's see, I'm all over the place now. I'm on my number 3. Is it okay to go with that? You guys taking mine left and right here.
Let's go ahead and cycle back.
This is one that's coming out very soon. I'm going to have a competing movie to go see, unfortunately, October 6th. I'm going to be going to see My Little Pony instead of what I should be seeing, which is Blade Runner 2049.
I'm not surprised to hear this one's on your list.
Yeah,
It's not on yours.
It is not on mine.
I mean, I haven't seen the first one. I don't
you
even
can't
know.
be excited because you don't
Bruce
know.
Willis?
You have no excuse, sir.
I have every excuse. It's a sequel to a perfect movie.
But it's directed by Denis
Villeneuve.
Villeneuve, thank you.
He is French, not Spanish.
I always do that.
He's made some good movies.
Prisoners, Arrival, Sicario.
Prisoners. You started out with the one that's kind of like.
I still haven't seen it.
Well, you tell us why it's going to be good, and then I'll tell you why you're wrong. It's going to be good.
I already said Denis, Arrival, and
Denis
Sicario.
Moore.
Ryan Gosling. Adds quite a bit of heft there. Bringing back Harrison Ford. The story. It boils down to story. I think Denis is going to bring the visual stylings that he's brought to all of his movies and tempo, and he has a way to kind of the pacing of his movies are always keep me on the edge of my seat. So if he brings that and the story is the only missing piece, if that's halfway decent, then I'm on board, and I think the visuals will speak for themselves. The trailer has already made it seem as though it's going to be representative of what I would hope a Blade Runner movie would be.
What is Blade Runner?
Blade Runner
is it like a thriller? Sci-fi thriller?
Movie. It's set in the very distant future of 2019.
So this is 30 years later?
This is however many years that is, yes.
Okay.
30 years, yes. So plot of the first one, Harrison Ford plays a Blade Runner, a basically not a mercenary. He's like a member of the police force who hunts down robots that have gone rogue. And over the course of the movie, he has to track down these 5 robots who are potentially a threat to the peace. But as we move through, it seems increasingly actually they're just, desperate beings trying to cling on to what little life they have left. Really beautiful film, like the defining representation of like a grimy crap future. It's neon, rain, Los Angeles by way of Tokyo. It's an amazing looking film. I love it. It's one of my favorite movies. And I don't want a movie that betrays what I love about Blade Runner, so that's what I'm scared about, but I also don't want a movie that's just like giving me the same visuals over and over again, which is kind of what the trailer's telling me it might be.
You feel like Denis would do that to us?
I mean, I don't have the faith in him that you do because I thought Prisoners was kind of crappy, and I didn't like Enemies either.
How is it not like Terminator? Like, is he going out after robots to destruct?
It's more like I don't want to say it's like Ghost in the Shell because it predated Ghost in the Shell.
It is, however, it also predated Terminator.
Yeah, that's true.
Ghost in the Shell is like it, let us say, substantially so.
Oh, really? Okay.
Ghost in the Shell is like shitty Blade Runner, basically.
Okay.
The live action Ghost in the Shell, the animated is not shitty.
Yeah. So and for Blade Runner, it was a more I could grapple with what it was trying to say a lot easier than the animated version was trying to say about kind of being sentient and how the compromise that people are going to have to make as we build AI. What happens if it kind of goes out on its own and keeping that from happening, that sort of thing too. So I'm excited to see where it goes from here, how the story ends. And I'm excited just about revisiting Blade Runner. It's kind of the same way I felt about when Alien Covenant was coming. I know you guys have your own thoughts on Alien Covenant, but kind of the momentum that was building.
That would be another reason why I'm holding back, because this is a movie that Ridley Scott signed off on, and Ridley Scott has done some horrible things to his established franchises.
That's true. Years. So yeah, that's my number 3. All I'm left with is my number 1. Care.
Oh man,
what are you at now?
I think I'm at number 3.
Okay, you're still solid at number 3. All right.
Wait, hang on a second. I started with Snowman. 1, 2. Oh yeah, that one. That one's gonna be good. So I'm at my number 3.
Right to your number 3.
And this one I'm super, super excited about. I don't know if you guys saw this one. It's coming out on November 10th. It's Murder on the Orient Express. Did you see this?
I have seen this trailer.
So the trailer looks maybe slightly a little bit cheesy.
I was going to say cheesy.
Yeah, a little bit. Like a little, because it has Johnny Depp in it. But it's directed by Michael Ritchie. Does he do anything good?
Does he?
Is he a name?
It's not directed by Michael Ritchie.
Doesn't ring any bells.
think so.
It's directed by Kenneth Branagh.
I think Branagh.
No, I think it's Michael Ritchie.
I don't think so.
I think also Kenneth Branagh's in it.
Yes. Hang on. Hey, we're
Not directed by Kenneth Branagh.
And Michael Ritchie. There's two
No, there's
directors.
no-
There's
I
multiple
don't know who
directors.
Michael Ritchie
Michael
is.
Ritchie is someone. He is a director
of things
who is dead.
in that movie. Are you
He's a
serious?
dead director. He's been
He
dead
really
since
passed away?
2001.
He's
I feel so
posthumously
bad about
directing
this.
this. That's interesting.
I feel really bad about this.
I'm curious where these lines crossed.
I feel really bad now.
You should. You've made Mrs. Ritchie.
If I were to say Gregory
Fletch.
McDonald,
She had Fletch at number last week.
so I've been really
So now we've learned something important about your process. Ritchie, born in Waukesha, Wisconsin, by the way.
Oh, I feel so sad, and I
yes.
have been really tired this week. My kids
is-
have
this
been
is-
really
now you
like
see how
getting
our
up
prep work
early.
works. We do a lot of copy
My kids have
pasting.
been like waking up at like 5, and they wake up so early, and I'm so tired. But is it written by Gregory McDonald?
I don't know.
I don't believe it is.
That's. I don't think so.
So let me tell you more about this movie. So the murder on the Orient
So
Express.
it's about a detective played by Chevy Chase.
This is a rough week for me. I'm just gonna step out. So here's why I'm excited about it. It's this train ride scenario, and
What train is it?
it's a
Does this train have a name?
yeah,
What is the name of this train?
the Orient Express.
Very good.
Thank you, Tim. And that was a trick question, wasn't it?
It was.
They did
it
say
was
that.
probing whether you've actually written down the plot line of this movie.
I have. So it ends up becoming this suspense mystery, and I'm hoping that it becomes like, what if it's like Clue meets 10 Little Indians meets Snowpiercer, and it's amazing, and it's this crime mystery thing, and what if it is that? I don't know if it will be.
Well, 10 Little Indians is actually a very good comparison point because, of course, this is based on a book by Agatha Christie.
It is.
It is.
See, you just know everything. So it is based on a novel by Agatha Christie, and it tells the story of 13 stranded strangers and one man's race to solve the puzzle of who the murderer is before he strikes he or she or it
He or she or they
or mineral
it.
or animal strikes again.
Or maybe he just had bad clams.
You know, no. I love a 10 Little Indian story.
Right.
And so the minute I saw this movie not directed by Michael Ritchie, I was like, this is going to be good. And if it is good, so it stars Johnny Depp, which scares me off a little because I thought it might get weird. Like it might turn into like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory Part 2. But
He does have the weird mustache going.
It's going to be okay.
you think so?
So I know the material and I know
Okay.
the character he's playing, and it's
not gonna
Johnny
be-
Depp is not going to torpedo the film.
Okay. But it's also Michelle Pfeiffer. Judi Dench is in it, who I love. Penelope Cruz is in it. Kenneth Branagh, who also apparently directed this movie, is in it. And I just have high hopes. Like it's one of those movies again, shot in the dark. Like I was like, it just looks like it
Shot
could be
in the Dark
something I'll
is
love.
indeed a murder mystery, no question about it.
Also that. So, but it's not on yours. I thought this might be on
Well,
yours.
I think it looks bad.
Well,
That's
it
why it's not
probably
on there.
it might be bad.
So there's an earlier version of this movie made in 1974. And again, like a huge cast. I find it to be a kind of weaker story. And maybe they've tweaked it, and if they have, then that'll be
If
cool.
they made it good,
If they made it good, I find it to be a little bit too cunning and cute.
it might be.
You weren't
It was
kidding. The
the-
original had quite the cast too.
It
Sean
has
Connery, Lauren Bacall.
Yep.
Albert Finney.
It has
Wow.
Albert Finney plays the Kenneth Branagh character. Ingrid Bergman won her Oscar, or her third Oscar, I think, for that movie.
Like, so if you've seen that movie or if you've read the Agatha Christie, like, you know how this is all playing out, right?
Oh yeah, I know exactly. I mean, well, they could change it,
Yeah.
but in theory, I know exactly how it ends. Yes.
That would
Don't tell
bother
me.
That would bother
Don't tell me.
Orient Express itself came to
It
life.
consumed him.
and killed
the
the
porta
victim.
potties took
Yes.
them all down. So I'm excited. So don't tell me what happens, and I'll tell you what happens next time after November 10th. So that's
in a month.
in a month. Is it your number 2?
I think it's my number 3.
Okay.
I think at this point, right?
Yes.
All right. So my number 3 is a film that is opening Thanksgiving weekend, so the Friday after Thanksgiving. Call Me By Your Name.
Oh my gosh.
Directed by Luca Guadagnino, who, I don't really know much about it. It's like a gay love story, and Armie Hammer is in it, and
Yes.
some young actor named Timothée Chalamet, who's getting apparently really, really good like Oscar buzz for it. I needed to know who directed it, and he makes pretty movies about pretty people in Europe, and that's what he does. And I'm frankly heartbroken that Tilda Swinton's not in it, because she's been in all of his stuff that is amazing and wonderful. But, I'll cut him some slack, because, you can't make a gay man's love story with Tilda Swinton. You could. They have, in fact, kind of.
Which is what?
Orlando, sort of, is kind of about her being a gay man.
Okay.
So we're gonna spot him that the story he was telling was Tilda Swinton proof, sadly. But I don't care. I don't care what it's about. I've seen the trailer, and the trailer doesn't really necessarily do a whole lot, maybe, for me, but it's going to be a Luca Guadagnino film, and it's going to be very pretty.
The trailer for me, and I came across this in my research, it does show me Arnie Hammer's a handsome...
Yeah, he's a handsome dude.
Handsome man. Handsome man.
So here's my thing about this movie and why I couldn't pick it. So I wanted to pick it. I had it on my list to pick it. It was like my number 5. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, I just feel really sad. This can't end well. And even from watching the trailer, I was like, this movie is going to end up really sad. It's not like these two are going to run off together and live happily and like get married and live happily. It's going to end poorly and sadly. And I was like, I can't do this to myself right now.
I'm optimistic that it ends in the like older but wiser sadly, and not the like kill all your gays of AIDS, sadly. That,
no, it's not going to end like that.
If this movie had come out in the 80s, which I believe is when it's set, they totally would have had someone die horribly. Like, that's how gay movies used to go. Obviously, we don't do that as much anymore. I think there's much more sophisticated ways of telling same-sex love stories. So I think they end up together? No, probably not. But
yeah, but how sad is that? Like, if they were playing Pinochle in their 90s, I'd watch it, but I'm not going to watch
kind
this.
Of sad.
It's not going to be.
Could be.
It's going to be your kind of sad, where it's sad.
Yeah.
And that I end up feeling teary all night, and Rob's like, why are you having bad dreams? And I'm like, it's because I watched Call Me By Your Name, and I feel sad.
It's going to be very pretty.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they're pretty, and they're going to be making out, and that'll be pretty.
That'll be pretty too. Yeah, I don't know. You tell me how. Well, I guess I have to watch it now.
I've committed you to watching this. You've committed me to watching whatever Murder on the Orient Express.
It's going to be good, though. It's going to be good.
Army Hammer with his shirt off.
Agreed.
I do like coming of age stories. Have you seen Bigger Splash? I know we started the podcast.
I have seen a Bigger Splash.
Okay.
I thought the ending sucked a lot, but everything up till then was really good.
Okay.
And it was also really pretty.
All right.
It had a swimming pool that was like bright blue.
I believe the two men swim in this one as well too. There's a pool.
And if that pool has a sort of hypnotically neon blue that the one in Bigger Splash does, then I will be entirely on board with it.
All I'm left with is my number 1. Do each of you have 2 left?
I still have
I'll go
my
around.
numbers 2 and 1.
Okay.
I just have 2.
You just have 2,
right?
Oh, that's right, because I took your 1.
You took my 1.
What should we do? Oh, go ahead, Tim.
All right. So, let's go ahead and plow right through my number 2. I think there's a real possibility this might be on somebody else's list, getting a lot of Oscar buzz. So it is a December release. Let me pull up the exact day. I believe is Friday, the 8th of December. This is Guillermo del Toro's newest. I've taken it from you, haven't I?
No, Shape of Water. So good. No,
I've never even heard of this.
It would have replaced Coco. Should have probably replaced
Coco.
Is it animated?
It's not. It's live action with a CGI protagonist. So what it is, in the Cold War 50s, when things are repressive and grim and very Eisenhower-y, there is a government laboratory that has acquired a web man, or like a frog man, if you will, like a creature from the Black Lagoon. And this is the story of the mute, I don't even know if she does laundry or if she's a janitor or what, played by Sally Hawkins, just a regular woman who works in this facility and falls in love with the Gill Man, and works.
What's a Gill Man?
The creature from the Black Lagoon.
How do you fall in love with the Gill Man?
He has sensitive eyes. He's played by Doug Jones, so you know he's going to be just very. It's a fable.
Okay.
They can communicate, right? Like if I remember
through grunts and moans.
No, there's some sort. I thought there was some way of.
Well, she can't talk, so she speaks using sign language. So she teaches the Gill Man sign language. Carrie is not on board with this movie.
No, I can get behind it.
You are not, however, currently behind it.
I'm not. Keep telling me more.
I mean, that's kind of what there is to it. It's
okay.
It's going to be sort of like a beautifully stylized costume drama, like love story, horror, thriller, romance with Sally Hawkins. The Shape of Water.
Shape of Water.
Sally Hawkins is in it. Michael Shannon, Richard Jenkins, Octavia Spencer, who we just spoke about. Doug Jones plays the gill creature. I mean, Guillermo del Toro has been trying to do a riff on Creature from the Black Lagoon for a long time, so he finally got to do it. He is always interesting. Even when his movies don't work, they have stuff going on that's worth looking at. And that's what I need. I think that's all that's really going to take me. And plus, Sally Hawkins is getting terrific reviews, and I love Sally Hawkins in absolutely everything. So,
What else is she in? I've never heard of Sally Hawkins.
Sally Hawkins, I'm trying to think, what would you have seen her in? The big thing for me is a movie called Happy Go Lucky from 2008, which I just think is one of the damnedest things. So that's
is
really
damnedest thing's a good thing?
It's a good thing.
Oh, okay.
She had a small role in Godzilla along with everybody else who wasn't Aaron Taylor Johnson. She was in Maudie this past summer.
Let me see her face.
What?
Can you scroll up to her face?
Let's scroll up to her face. So that's her face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
so she's a wonderful British actress. And if this is the movie that gets her Oscar, then I will be cheering this movie on hardcore.
Again, I'm going to have to watch this now.
I think you'll be in store for. I mean, you need to see more Guillermo del Toro.
Is it going to be like a slimy kiss thing?
I don't know. If there is, it will be sweet.
I don't know.
Love doesn't always require.
I'm like really into non-slimy
intimate.
kissing. I have like a germ
Exchanges.
thing with that. I don't know.
Well, it's a movie, so it's not like it's in 3D. You won't see the Gill Man coming at the camera with his wetness.
Oh my gosh, with his moistness.
Oh.
I know. So I think I only have one left.
Yeah.
I'll see that now. But because you've made me see that, I will make you see this.
All right.
And I'm going to tell you a movie quote, and I'm going to see if you know what it is, because this movie quote gives me chills every time I hear it. What if I said this to you? You're not going to die. Not today. Don't tell me, Rob. Don't say it, Rob. Don't say it, Rob. Because Rob knows. Wait, I'll do it again. I'm going to do it in the voice. I didn't do the right voice. Hang on. You're not going to die. Not today.
That was actually pretty good.
Thanks.
Darkest Hour?
No.
Justice League.
Both good guesses.
No, it's the October 6th release of The Mountain Between Us.
Oh, it's Idris Elba.
Idris Elba.
Oh, damn it. I am going to have to see this now.
Oh, you're going to have to see it because they're stranded after a tragic plane crash. Both strangers, played by Idris Elba and Kate Winslet, have to forge a connection to survive in the extreme elements in the remote snow-covered mountains. And then, when you think they're going to die, they don't, because she has Idris Elba. And then, when help is not coming, they have to go and embark on a perilous journey into the wilderness to survive. And just when you think you're going to die, not today.
All right.
I cannot wait for this thriller adventure movie. So every time we see a preview for this, Rob's like, you're like clutching your seat. And I'm like, I know. I'm so excited. I love Kate Winslet and I love Idris Elba and I love like survivalist type movies. And if they're like teaming up to like, we're not going to die, I'm like, I'm so excited.
All right.
It's going to be good.
What if the way for one of them to not die turns out to be
human consumption?
Cannibalizing the other one.
They won't do that. No.
What if they do?
Have you seen this movie?
But what if they do?
They won't.
But they might.
Then I will leave.
Okay.
Because they have to end up together and they have to fall for each other whilst they're on the mountain.
Is she going to her wedding?
I don't know.
I thought she was.
think
That's
so.
where she was going.
But what's going to happen?
If you had the opportunity to leave your doubtlessly
that's true.
gormless, unpleasant fiance for yourself.
Yeah, so I hope he's unpleasant, and then I hope he saves her life and maybe like shares a toe or two. And if he does that just to keep her alive, then she has to marry him once they get off the mountain together. She falls also into like this icy water, and obviously Idris Elba has to like come and save her.
You didn't see that happen though, right?
He's he's a serious badass, so I can tell that he's going to be that survivalist guy. There's going to be wolves probably
fun.
that come out, and Idris Elba is going to be like just like elbowing them off. Like that's what I'm picturing.
Liam Neeson movie didn't turn out to be, where he's just going to be punching wolves.
That's like punching wolves at the end until they're licking the snow off his face. No, it's going to be. I have high hopes for this movie.
I'm not excited to see it, but
good.
it certainly doesn't make my top 10.
I'm so excited. Every time I see the preview, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna see that. And not on your number one
It
or
shockingly did not scrounge its way into my top 5.
That's sad for you, but I'm lucky that I was able to bring it to you, so you'll see it.
I thank you
Yeah.
for your service.
You're
Our
welcome.
October 6th is just getting jam packed.
So does that? What you're left with number?
I got my number one, and you have your number one.
I have my number one.
Okay, I'm excited.
So shall I go?
Yeah.
Please? All right. So my number one is another film that's being, sort of heavily talked about in the Oscar race. I am happy to say I was excited for this. I'd picked this as my number one even before anybody had seen it, based solely on the trailer. This movie releases on the 10th of November, and it is 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, a film written and directed by Martin McDonagh, who is a fairly successful playwright. His movie work includes In Bruges and Seven Psychopaths. And so what this is about is a young woman has been murdered and the cops are just doing nothing about it. So her mother rents the 3 billboards on the highway outside of town to accuse the sheriff's office of being awful at their job and negligent. And so it creates this huge national incident where everybody's like starting to take notice because there's these 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. And it's just about like how that plays out. The cast looks phenomenal. It stars Frances McDormand as the mother. Sam Rockwell and Woody Harrelson are the main cops. And it looks, Martin McDonagh's, his sort of thing is to write this really excessively vulgar but beautiful dialogue. And hearing Frances McDormand deliver that in the trailer has just been so unbelievably pleasurable to me every time I see that trailer. It looks like legitimately the best thing McDormand has done since Fargo, and that was 21 years ago. So for that alone, this would probably be in my top 5. But that plus McDonagh plus like this really like dark comic satiric tone it's going for is just like everything I want. I'm very excited for this movie.
Carrie, I don't think you've seen In Bruges.
I've seen Fargo.
Yeah, but not this director's work and the writing.
Is it going to be dark? I think it's going to be dark.
It's going to be dark,
but with humor.
Funny.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Fargo a little bit,
it's going
right?
to be Fargo a little bit.
Yeah, and so
probably less violence than Fargo.
I thought
no
wood chippers. I thought when you said that, that's the first thing that came to like. It's funny when you're like, oh, it's Fargo. I was like, gosh, it reminds me of that from the trailer because I watched it too. It felt like it's going to be one of those movies that like there's a 30-second scene where we see a car driving down the road in like a rural area.
God, I hope so.
It just seems like it's going to be slow.
It's been too damn long. I don't think it's going to be slow at all. It looks to me very peppy.
I think you caught the peppy in the trailer. I think you only got like those are the 3 peppy minutes.
McDonagh's he's a bit of a peppy writer.
You think?
His rhythm, his dialogue has a really good rhythm.
I don't know
whether I love In Bruges. I don't know how you feel about it. Seven Psychopaths kind of Sam Rockwell. I'll watch anything he's in, but. In Bruges for me is really
What's
up
In
there.
Bruges about? Anything good?
It's Colin Farrell.
It's about a pair of hitmen who go to Bruges to cool their heels, and one of them, played by Colin Farrell, finds it to be the worst place he's ever been in life, but can't leave because the cops will get him if he does.
Because he's in Bruges.
Because he's in Bruges.
Okay.
But it's all of it.
These all
is
sound awful.
The peppy dialogue, as Tim described it, is just the banter back and forth is great, and
yeah,
there's nothing about that movie that makes me not think it's going to be great. Like, or but
it ain't no Coco.
No Coco. It's a Pixar. Coco's a Pixar movie, guys.
It's going to be bad.
Now,
I'm surprised you didn't pick the Bull movie with.
Oh God!
So it was between that and Coco.
With Vin Diesel as the bull, or
John Cena.
John Cena, yeah, same person.
Ferdinand
Same
over
person.
Coco, I would be tempted to set.
That's the whole reason why I didn't want to pick Ferdinand. I actually have higher hopes for Ferdinand, but I was kind of like, I feel a little guilty.
In God's creation would lead you to have those.
No, three Billboards looks really good.
Our guest room is
Ferdinand,
open
you're
today.
number one.
Guys, don't spoil.
Oh, spoiler alert.
No, my number one should be everybody's. I'm surprised this isn't on anybody's top. This is like a most anticipated list. Is that what we're trying to achieve here? Is no one excited about
Jumanji on there?
December 15th and Star Wars: The Last Jedi?
I'm actually not.
You're not excited about Rian Johnson?
I have to see all the others first. I don't know.
Yeah, you have an excuse again, but yeah, Tim, it's Rian Johnson.
It's Rian Johnson.
You like him?
I do.
Yeah.
I like Star Wars. I like a lot of things that are going on.
Yeah, why isn't this on your list?
Well, let's hear why it is on
Yeah.
first.
It's on my list because I'm a big Rian Johnson fan. When I found out that he was going to be given the keys to the Star Wars kingdom, I had hopes that he might take it into some new places. I know there's recent recent history has shown that the Star Wars franchise doesn't really allow for much creative freedom. So
It would seem that way, wouldn't it?
it would look that way with all of their firings and last minute changes at director at the helms of many of their films. But I believe that Rian Johnson could hold true to his creative and artistic freedoms and keep the producers happy as well too. That's what I'm holding out hope for. I liked Star Wars. I thought Star Wars: The Force Awakens was a nice new chapter in the Star Wars series, and I'm excited to see where Rian Johnson takes it. I'm excited to see what the hell Mark Hamill's talking about. I know the trailer when we first saw it.
Mark Hamill?
Yeah, Mark
You
Hamill's
mean
back.
the ice skater?
Yeah, Mark Hamill. Yeah, he's back.
Dorothy Hamill has finally transitioned. She's Mark now.
Is this a real thing? It has the... No. Mark Hamill?
Mark Hamill.
Oh, you mean the old Luke?
The only Luke who has ever been in a Star Wars.
Oh, they don't have a newer Luke?
They have characters who are analogous to Luke and are called not Luke.
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
So I know the trailers. We have so far to go.
I'm so sorry.
Excited.
I'm so sorry.
I'm excited when we do all of the movies. And again, it's very much like what we talked about with Alien and the buildup of Blade Runner that I had. Like, I'm excited to revisit all of these movies and see them all over again, and then kind of end with this one and as the kind of the climactic top. But I know you said the trailer didn't look.
The trailer, there's
was
one
kinda dull.
shot in the trailer. It's the very, very wide shot of Rey swinging her lightsaber on the hillside while Luke is looking down at her. That shot's great. That shot, absolutely 100% pure Star Wars. That's what I want. The rest of the trailer just feels like sort of, stuff. And I got to be honest, this is extrinsic to the movie. I trust Rian Johnson and all that. The situation at Lucasfilm kind of means I don't think I'm ever going to be excited for another Star Wars. It's just like they're hell-bent on ensuring those films don't have personalities, and fuck that. Like I don't want to say it's all because they fired Lord and Miller off of Han Solo, but after that happened, I just don't know what it would take to get me excited for a Star Wars again.
I'm hopeful that with Force Awakens, what they were doing was playing it nice and easy and it was basically a copy of A New Hope, right? I mean, I know a lot of people feel that. I feel that way. Certainly, I feel like The Last Jedi is maybe hopefully branching out into some uncharted territory.
That's what they're telling us, and I hope it is, because, I don't want another retread. I don't know. I don't have faith right now in Kathleen Kennedy at all.
It could be a miss for me, but I want to believe.
I
want to believe, and I'm
it.
sticking it there. Plus, now you guys have the reason to see it. If you didn't have one,
yes, I required a reason. I was going to spend that weekend polishing my toes. It was going to be great.
And now,
calluses. I was going to
put down the glitter.
Clearly,
you got to see it.
Yep. Apparently.
Well, I think that wraps it up for us.
Well, I want to throw a challenge out to everybody. What if you have an answer to this question? What do you think is going to be the worst movie of the fall season?
You guys go first, and I'll quickly scan the.
Gosh, I keep thinking back to your list, Tim. I'm just going through it
everyone on
really
Tim's list.
quickly. Yeah, I don't know. Everything you described seems.
That's turnabout is, and not that you said this, Carrie, but mine is Ferdinand.
Oh yeah.
Is it really?
It looks so fucking horrible.
Worse than My Little Pony?
Much worse than My Little Pony. At least My Little Pony's 2D. And at least the Bible movie with the twerking pigeons is going to be hilariously awful. Ferdinand just looks so dull.
But it has cast
and there's
that song.
Scene
Castle in the
trailer where Ferdinand, played by John Cena, says most bulls are normal, but not me. I'm more difficult. It's fuck off, Snowflake. Burn in hell, you little shit. You terrible bull asshole. You suck.
I've got mine, Carol.
What is it? Tell me yours first.
It's a tie between Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle.
Oh, that's going to be terrible.
Yeah, I have that on
Bad
there.
Moms Christmas. I don't need more Bad Moms.
Bad Moms is just going to be mediocre. Jumanji looks apocalyptic.
Jumanji is one of those things. Here's what makes me mad about Jumanji. I want that to be good because the original is one of my favorites, and it just looks so bad.
I want it to be good because Dwayne Johnson is clearly into it.
Yeah.
But he's into a thing that looks bad.
They get sucked into a TV that I clearly remember from my middle school life. They get sucked into.
Old,
I know.
So
it's it feels like they're picking at me. I don't know. I'm concerned about that
you know
one.
How old Jumanji is?
I don't want to know.
Jumanji will be 22 years old when its sequel comes out.
And nothing can ever probably replace it. There were a couple movies I thought, Tim, would be on your list. I thought The Unknown Girl, which is a French film that's coming out, I thought would be on there. Not for me, but I thought it would be for you. Another movie called School Life, which is a documentary about teachers that are amazing and wonderful in the way that they communicate with their students. I thought that would be on there.
Yeah, that does sound like a movie that's going to be just awful.
I hate that. No.
Geo Storm looks pretty
I was
bad.
surprised you didn't make
Geo
the review.
Storm looks amazing. I will not hear a word said against it.
I thought you would have Lady Bird.
Oh, I think Lady Bird looks terrible.
You think so?
I'm not excited about that at
So
all.
it seems terrible in the way that you would like it, though.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about
Is that a compliment?
No,
No,
it's like
clearly
it's
not.
kind of like a compliment in like a weird way. So
I find Greta Gerwig's whole like indie hipster thing to be very. I disliked Frances Ha a shitload, so that kind of ruined Greta Gerwig for me.
yeah. So my one that I'm most concerned, I won't say the one that I think is going to be the worst, but the one I'm most concerned about is the movie Breathe.
Oh,
I'm most concerned because I think that has the most potential to like either anger, sadden, and infuriate me at the same time. It's a small child who like has physical deformities, but yet his kids or his parents send him off into the public school system.
that is not Breathe.
That is Wonder.
I'm most concerned about Wonder.
Yeah.
The movie Wonder. What is Breathe?
Breathe is and it's a remake basically of The Theory of Everything with Andrew Garfield instead of Eddie Redmayne.
I'm actually really concerned about that one
That
too.
one looks very concerning.
It's on my concern list. I'm having trouble this week, aren't I?
Yeah.
I'm concerned about Wonder and Breathe for the same exact reasons. Like, is it just gonna like make this terrible situation for these people's lives like a spectacle, and it's gonna be awful and traumatizing? And this guy, like, both of those movies fell
that
off.
is entirely my concern with Wonder.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to see a little kid get bullied around by jerks and whatever. And like, I don't know. And the same thing, yeah, with
I mean, I feel
I
like
don't
Breathe
know.
we've already seen. I feel like Breathe is just going to be
Theory of Everything
It's Andy
again.
Serkis's opportunity to direct. Well,
I don't need to see the
Looks-
Breathe
looks-
again.
looks all right.
You're right, but Wonder, I'm concerned
Wonder
about.
also going to be your
no,
number five?
Wonder. I cry in the trailers. I cry in the trailers. for
agreed.
Wonder.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, is this just a thing that you want me to be sad? And it's like this kid is like getting picked on, and I just want all these other kids to just like disappear in
I
terrible
will say
ways.
nothing in the trailer indicates any type of bullying, but
It's coming,
It is the
though.
real
It's
world,
coming.
so I'm sure if they.
So anyway,
if
that's
it's
my
rooted in
least.
that, then-
So thank you guys. Wonder is my least
Excellent.
anticipated.
And can I just point out that this has been a banner year for movies with Wonder in the title? We've had Wonder. We will have Wonderstruck coming out this fall. We will have Professor Marston and the Wonder Women. We will have Woody Allen's Wonder Wheel. And of course, the big film this summer was Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
it's got to be
It's wonderful.
It is a wonderful life.
It is. Wonderful
especially-
is not wonder. Wonderful
true.
is a different word.
Especially when every week we ask you to share. It's wonderful when we ask you to share your picks and thoughts for a chance to win a free Amazon movie rental. We took your results, and based on those results, here are your top 5 picks. A lot of entries. We actually had Standalone at number 5 with Lady Bird.
I apologize
So-
for saying it's
Yeah,
terrible.
so
It looks great.
and then tied for 4, we have quite a few here. Coco, The Killing of a Sacred Deer, right on par with that. See that, Tim? The Snowman, right
See?
up there with Coco, and Justice League.
Justice League's not going
You
to be good.
know, Justice League's going to be bad.
It's not going to be as good as Thor.
Yeah, I think I don't know what to feel about
I
Justice
mean,
League.
frankly, I don't know if I think it's going to be as good as Batman vs Superman because I think it's going to be like overcorrecting.
It looks pretty bad in the trailer from my perspective. Number 3, we have Star Wars: The Last Jedi finally making an appearance. Appreciate that. Tied with The Shape of Water. So others excited about Guillermo del Toro. At second, Blade Runner 2049.
There
and
you
first
are.
place, everybody's excited about Thor Ragnarok, as they should be. And our lucky winner.
Is Thor the only film we overlapped on? All 3 of us.
And
I believe it is.
there was
think
another
so.
one.
There was one you 2 overlapped on.
We did Florida Project.
Oh, yeah.
there.
Yeah.
There wasn't too much overlap. Our lucky winner this week, Brian Fowler, who picked Thor Ragnarok. He said, "I'm too nervous for Blade Runner, so it's Thor." So much like you, Tim, not feeling too confident about Blade Runner. Brian, shoot us an email at contact@alternating.com for details on how to claim your free movie rental. If you want to win a free movie like Brian, be on the lookout for a top 5 spoiler alert or top 5 movie posts on Facebook and Twitter to share your favorite picks. In closing, thanks for listening. Be on the lookout for our social media. We're out there on Facebook. Go out to our page and like it. We're tweeting all the time, all of the latest updates from Alternate Ending. AlternateEnding.com, where you'll find our movie reviews, podcasts, and more. Subscribe to our podcasts on iTunes or Google. Be sure to leave a review. Any new reviews this week, Kara?
No.
Oh no, go out there,
Love
change
us.
that. Yeah,
Tell us that tell people we're good.
we need that reinforcement to keep going in life. And with My Little Pony, we've talked about that coming out. We were scratching our heads on what to build an episode around, and we ended up with our top 5 horse movies.
Movies as what have horses in them.
So it'll be interesting to see how we all qualify that list, and tune in next week when we do.
My number one's going to be The Godfather.
There you go. So
Nay.
very
Hey.
good, pun master. There it is. Well, we'll catch you next week.